All right. Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday at 10 a.m. So, your favorite hosts, Tim and Tim, we're back with Making Moves Real Estate Community Live. And we got our boy Mike Wingard here with us today, who's a really good friend of mine based out of Charleston, South Carolina. Mike, what's up, dude? How you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing awesome. I always let my kids pick out my coffee mug in the morning, and I got old Buzz Lightyear today, so we're
Nice.
doing good, baby.
Yeah, hey, you got to start out on a high note, right?
That's right.
Dude, Tim,
I'm
Vest, what's up with you, man? How you been? I like the lighting. You got the lighting behind the TV back. You doing
I
some
know,
house
man.
projects?
No, yeah. Always doing a little something around the house. My daughter hasn't had like a soccer game in a month, so yeah, I got time on the weekends. Imagine that.
What is that? I don't know how you have time to tinker with anything, to be honest with you. Jeez.
I don't
God
sleep.
almighty. All right. Oh, look at this spam message in here. Anyways, all right. Mike, what's up, dude? Thanks for joining us today. I love everything that you're about. I love the group that you run and the systems and processes and the way that you look at businesses. When I first met you at Tim Brotz's Legacy Lodge event, you absolutely blew my mind. And every time I talk with you, I feel like this sense of excitement, and I just want to go out and start every business under the sun, because when you and I talk about it, it's like seems so easy. So
Yeah.
give a little introduction about yourself, what you do, what your skill sets are, talk about your group, talk about your business out, like everything, man. You have such a
Yeah.
great story and I want everybody to know it.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. And thanks for having me on here, dude. I know I told you guys this before, but you guys have one of the coolest podcasts out there. I watch it all the time. I think you guys provide so much for people and just have a really good time on here. So, guys, privileged to be on here.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no,
Absolutely.
your gift card is in the mail. I appreciate that.
No, you're good, dude. This is a gift right here. So, guys, so my name is Mike. I go by Legacy Mike. I run a company called Legacy Entrepreneurs, and the premise around that is there's a lot of people out there that want to be entrepreneurs. They want to start their own businesses. They want to buy real estate. They want to buy assets. The Robert Kiyosaki thing. So, how do we do that? Every business operates under three principles. It's pretty much sales, marketing, operations, and finance and risk management. So you figure out how to do those things and the things underneath those, you're going to be really successful. Started out just corporate America, left the corporate thing, started my own window cleaning company, going door to door, pretty much out of desperation. Had $143 in my bank account, started knocking on doors, started making money cleaning windows. And I'm like, dude, if I could do this, if I could make $300 a day cleaning windows by myself, imagine if I had a bunch of teams, and imagine if I grew that to 1,000 a day. And I did exactly that. So 2.5 years in, built that company up to where I wasn't working in it anymore, moved 12 hours away from it, figured the test of if a company was actually running without me is, could I run it remotely from 12 hours away? Visited the company one time in 18 months, ran without me, ended up selling that company, helped build one of the top moving companies in Bluffton, South Carolina, and then recently moved to Charleston, where I helped launch a company called Legacy Lights. And now I'm buying companies. So we just bought a roofing company. We're in due diligence on a couple other companies. The goal is to buy 4 companies this year, stabilize them, roll them up, sell them to a bigger private equity company, and exit for multiple 8 figures.
Dude, I love it. Like a full enterprise system.
That's it.
Hold on, I'm taking notes because I think I'm finding something new I want to do.
Yeah, right.
You had me at 8 figures.
Yeah. Yeah. So just like you guys in real estate operate, you take the NOI and you run that through a multiplier. Same thing in business. But what's interesting is if you do what's called a roll up, you take multiple companies and there's operational efficiencies. One of the things that you said, Tim, about one of your properties was rolling the cable bill into the properties. Then you increase the NOI by just that little bit, but then you throw a multiplier on top of that. Then it starts to become sexy. It's the same thing with businesses. So if you can take multiple companies, roll them up, operational efficiencies, not only does your NOI go up, but your multiplier goes up. So most of these trade companies trade for 2 to 4x EBITDA. But if you do a roll up, you're looking at like 8 to 10, sometimes even higher. EBITDA.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
That's incredible. Well, I never knew that. How'd you find that out?
Lots of research, man.
Lots of research.
Yeah. So there's a guy I follow on YouTube, Roland Frazier. He's like really big in the M&A world. Check him out. Got a lot of good content.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude. All right. So talk to me a little bit about your legacy group, because I know, I mean, I know it pretty well. Thanks again for the opportunity to come speak to your guys down at the Hilton Head event. And I know that you do this Moab event. That one day I'm going to get out to this Moab event because it looks absolutely awesome. I mean, I love your group so much and your mindset and the people that you surround yourself with. I actually even recommended my brother join your group. And when he did, he went, he learned how to do his business better. And
Yeah.
now he's doing really well. He's got, multiple employees working for him and all this kind of great stuff, which is incredible. And it just goes to show like the power of associating yourself with like-minded individuals make your problems less difficult, right? When you have the network of people to rely on in order to ask questions and learn from other people's mistakes, it gives you this sense of confidence to go out and achieve something that you probably didn't think was possible before. So like, I mean, I'm not in your group, but I'm all in on your group. Like, I love what you do. I love what you stand for. I love the people that you surrounded yourself with and the morals that you guys preach in your group. And it's just like a really good experience. So talk a little bit more about your group.
Yeah, awesome, dude. So Legacy Entrepreneurs, the premise of it is what do you want out of your life? Because that's where everything starts. And our life mission statement, we have business mission statements, but our life mission statement dictates the actions that we're going to take throughout our life. So we encourage everyone in our group to come up with a legacy mission statement for their life. Mine is to be proud of the man I become when I take my last breath, knowing that every action and interaction throughout my life inspired someone to be their very best. So
Awesome.
what we're trying to do in this group is help people reach their full potential. So if they want to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't matter what vehicle they're in. How do we build that business so that way it serves their life mission, giving back their time, getting time freedom, money freedom, so they can give back to their community, their family, their faith, their community, make the world a better place. So it's tactical stuff, how to build teams, how to put systems in place, how to do marketing, how to get more customers, but then also just life advice too, how to become a better person and how to grow yourself interpersonally. So we have a coaching group. We do some really cool retreats. We go out to Moab. We're actually going to go back in the fall. I just booked the house yesterday. So
Nice.
yeah. So
is it the same house? Is it the same house?
baby?
Nice.
Dude, I heard some feedback about that house, man.
Sick. Yeah.
That's
Sick.
what I heard.
So yeah, we're doing that. We're doing Hilton Head in September. So open that up as well. And we just get together, talk through business ideas. It's different than the big conferences you go to. Everyone plays loud music, screams, you go home, nothing really changes. Like
the Tony Robbins rah-rah.
Yeah. And I think that stuff has its place.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure.
But for what people are, from what I've seen, the people that experience the biggest growth is being able to get one-on-one with those people. Like that conversation that you were just talking about, Tim, of us sitting down at Tim's mountain house and talking about different businesses and real estate, all those things. Like that relationship has now been you coming out to our events, me being on this podcast, you being on our podcast, us talking on the phone every couple of months or whatever it may be. So
yeah, it's amazing how like you kind of plant that seed and it continues to grow. Like, Tim and I, we do our real estate, our race cars and real estate event, which we held at the Porsche driving experience. And that's the same thing. Like, it's a small room mastermind. There's like 20 people there, but you get to really know every single person there. And, I keep up with almost everybody that showed up to that event. And it's amazing to see how they're working together and doing deals now and formed partnerships and, are off doing great things, right? And it really gives me a sense of fulfillment. And I'm sure it gives you and Tim Vest a sense of fulfillment as well, as to be the guy that's kind of putting everybody in the room, right? You're taking the risk, you're putting out the money. The goal isn't to make money on these events. The goal is to continue to build relationship capital, because that's ultimately what's going to continue to drive your business forward, more so than, the menial amount of money that you could potentially make by putting on an event. So I look, we're full in on that motto and that, the way that you structure your events. We do it the same way because we believe in it. That's the best way to build relationships, hands down.
Yeah, totally agree. And Mike, you said it so well, like being able to sit down and just have those one-on-one conversations. Like Tim and I go to some of those big rah-rah music blaring events as well. But like I'm in there for 30 minutes and then I'm sitting outside talking to people one-on-one, right? Like, I go to an event with 1,000 people and I probably end up like really, really talking to like 3 people for 2 days, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so even when you're there, if that's what you're doing, it's like then just go to like your event, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much more meaningful, and you get so much more out of them. It's such a good format.
Yeah.
I mean, the downfall is they're a little bit more expensive, but they're way more unique experiences.
Yeah.
And I like to say, the higher the cost, the higher the entry cost, the higher the caliber of people.
Yeah.
You go to those rah-rah events that are $100 tickets, not naming names, but
Yeah.
you get anybody and everybody, right? But then you go to an event that's $3, $4, $5, $10,000, and it's like, oh, these are movers and shakers. Like, these are the people that I want to be connecting with, that know how to solve the problems that I'm currently encountering and predicting the problems that I could encounter in the future and telling me how to avoid them now. Like, you
Yeah,
can't put a price on learning that level of information and
Yeah.
preventing the failure, because if you don't have to learn how to go through a struggle because you got the cheat codes already, think about what you can accomplish, because you can focus on things that you haven't experienced yet or other people haven't experienced yet either. And then you become the person that's providing value to other people, right? Like,
right.
it's a two-way street, absolutely,
Yeah.
in terms of give and take.
There's two parts to that. One, somebody said this, I'll never forget it, is not only are you paying to get in the room, you are paying to get people out of the room. And I'm like, that is so valuable, because everyone there believes in themselves, wants to get something out of it, is going to really be there to provide value for the whole group. And the second thing is, when people say things like that, to me, that just shows me where their mindset is in business, that they're a very transactional thinker. Meaning, if I give you $4,000, what am I immediately going to get out of this? That shows
Mhm.
they're only thinking about one dimension. What happens is it goes beyond the event. So Tim and I, we met 2 years ago. Who knows what our relationship's going to be in 10 years? Who
Right.
knows the deals that we're going to invest in together, the connections we're going to be able, like, that's the compounding of it that people don't think about. And you cannot always be looking at it, getting an immediate return on something. You will get an immediate return. I promise you that. But you cannot put a value on what that's going to be 10, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And it's impossible to do because it grows exponentially.
It does. Yep. So you're not just going to go to one conference, get all the answers, the cheat codes, and then you're good to go. Like, it's continuous improvement here, and you got to nurture those relationships. So if you're not someone who's going to do those things, then don't come anyway. Don't even message me saying you're interested.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and it's funny, you can kind of tell who those people are when you're there, right?
Yeah.
And it depends on the event that you're going to, but man, I love seeing the transformation of the guys that were in your room in just a few short days. Like, it was,
Yeah.
it was very like, closed off. Like, I got to be the one. I got to figure out everything. I'm the owner of this company. I have to do it myself. I'm like, no, you really don't,
Yeah.
And it's like, you got to just kind of keep cracking away at it. And eventually you kind of get them to open up, and they're just like, oh, there is a different way. I mean, it's who, not how, all day.
Yeah.
Right. It's
Yeah.
teaching other people those principles, and not only teaching them the principles, but telling them how to apply it. Right.
Yeah.
Because people are always afraid. I mean, hell, Tim and I are always afraid of hiring people, but it's like, okay, well, you got to look past like this event and what the financial impact is, and what is the future potential impact growth because of this event.
Yeah.
That's
Totally.
crazy, man. So
Awkward silence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drop mic. Is that a drop mic?
No, dude. I think we should talk about buying some businesses, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. So talk about how did you get down this route? I mean, we talked about like a marketing firm, and you're going to build it from scratch, and now you built a couple companies from scratch, but now you're looking at buying them. Like, what happened there? What's the mindset shift? Yeah.
Yeah. So sure you guys know Nate Hirschberg.
Oh yeah,
Very
he's
good friend of
my
mine.
boy.
Yeah. So it's actually me, Dan Rivers,
Mhm.
and Nate Hirschberg. We created a small private equity company. We're all partners in it. So Nate and I were talking about doing a marketing company, because we're like, oh, we can get some cash flow from that. We can take that. We can invest in deals, this and that. Then we ran into all these hurdles, we just logistical stuff. And I just remember my brain just being like, this is not that hard. Why can we not break through this? And it was because it wasn't the right opportunity. So we met in December, and we were going to talk about the logistics of the marketing company and all of those things. And I just sat down with Nate, and I'm like, dude, do you mind if I just blow up this marketing company? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you like ideas? He's like, yeah, I love ideas. I'm like, okay. So just to bring everything back in here, the number one principle of wealth is to buy cash flowing assets improve them, make them more valuable, and either hold them or sell them down the line for more money.
Right.
What does a marketing company do for that? Nothing. I'm like, why don't we, instead of doing marketing for other people's businesses, if we're already good at marketing, why don't we buy our own companies and improve them through marketing and teams and systems and then sell them later? And he's like, that gets me excited to get out of bed in the morning.
Right.
Because we were looking at a marketing company. Yeah, maybe it kicks you $100,000 a year. Does that change your life? Maybe, unless you take that and you invest it in business. So cut the middleman out and just go straight to investing in those businesses. So we made it a goal that we were going to buy a business within the next 90 days, made some calls to some owners, sat down with this guy who had a roofing company for 30 years. He slides this thing across the table to me and says, here's the deal. He literally rips the sheet off like he's giving me an estimate, and he slides it across the table. And he's like, here's what I want for the company. Here's what it comes with. Called Nate. He's like, tell me where to wire the money. Let's do this.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love it. And what's that experience been like now? So I remember you bought it, and you essentially bought the name and some systems and I think a truck or, very basic level stuff. But what has the first 90 days looked like?
Yeah. So we hired an operator day one. So his name is John Roof, which is hilarious. His last name's Roof.
John Roof, the roofing guy.
Yeah. Right. So he's Mr. Roofmeister. We did some rebranding, got some things together, just setting the foundation. And so he's got the service side on lockdown. We got the subs lined up, all that stuff. And then this week and Monday of next week, we're actually bringing on 2 new sales reps. So we're going to have the whole package. We got the sales reps who can go out and sell. We got all the back end stuff, building out the SOPs. I wrote 40 pages of SOPs and sales training over the weekend. So they're ready to rock and roll. And then now it's just a matter of them going out, selling the jobs. We got the marketing dialed in. John's going to service it. We got an install manager who actually installs it. And then now we're just looking at other bolt-on companies. Like when we go and meet with a homeowner, just like we did this morning. Hey, you guys can do the roof. I actually need to do windows. Do you guys do that too?
Windows and siding. Yep.
So now we're just like, dude, we got this model. Why don't we just throw it on there? It's just like you guys do with multifamily, just find those operational efficiencies. And then now we can work with bigger players and bigger companies like you guys that are like, hey, I've got 150 units that we're rehabbing. Can you do the windows, the siding, the roofing? We can offer a package deal and give you guys a discount and work with bigger players now.
Right.
So that's the next step.
Yeah, it's funny, man. It's funny you say that. I literally had a guy out yesterday looking at hardscape, fixing a retaining wall, and the retaining wall is failing, and it's causing some issues to a sidewalk. So he's out here and he's like quoting me on the retaining wall, and then he's like, well, we do concrete work as well, and he's like, yep. So to your point, he's already got those complementary companies bolted on. And he's here, just like you said, he's here like cross-selling me, right? Upselling me.
Upselling you, yeah.
On something else I need. And that, man, it's like you see it all the time, but it just never dawns on you, until someone like you says that, like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Like,
yeah. And I think there's a lot of value there too, because I used to own a house, but it's like, you kind of have a tight wallet towards doing upgrades and renovations or whatever. But as soon as it opens up and you just, whatever, just do it. Once you crack that nut and get access to being able to like do work at somebody's house, they're much more likely to say yes to something else because you're already in there. And, I don't know, as a car guy, I used to remodel cars and stuff. And it's like the while you're in there syndrome. It's like, well, while I'm in there, I might as well replace the clutch. And while I'm in there, I might as well paint the engine. It's a lot easier to go down that rabbit hole. I might as well do it while I'm already doing it. And it's completely beneficial for people that run businesses, because now he's going to do the retaining wall. He might pour you a new concrete stamped packed porch and, fix all these little things that you've had around the house. Cause you're like, you know what, let's just do it all while we're already there, rip the Band-Aid off and we'll be good. And that's, it's a really easy upsell for the guy that's already on site.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Mike, Brock here, he's got a question. How do you plan to find operators?
Yeah, it's a great question, man. Something that we're currently, I wish I had all the answers, but just some of the things that we're doing is obviously building up a following on social media of what we're doing. So I have people that reach out to me and say, hey, man, I would love to operate one of these businesses. If you ever buy one, I'm in the area. Or, hey, I've got a small company I've been running for the past 5 years. We'd love to team up. So that's the first thing is there's principle in business. Find your buyer first. So if we find a good operator, we can find a company to put them in, especially if they have a technical skill like HVAC, plumbing, electrical, things like that. And then the easier way is to find a business that already has an operator in place and buy that business. And then give them either, don't really want to give equity, but give them some type of profit share, some type of hook where they hang their license with you and they help you build it. So,
Yeah. So can you talk about that one for 1 second? Because I used to be guilty of this. I fully admit. And you hear that so much, right? It's like, hey, I can bring this guy in. I don't have any cash right now, but I can incentivize them with equity. Can you? I know the answer, guys, but I'd like to hear it from Mike here. Like, why don't you want to give people equity?
I just do not want to partner with anyone that isn't equally yoked, meaning they got the same mindset, they got the same principles, they've got the same similar cash position, where if the company needs a contribution, they're not going to be like, oh, I can't do it. So I want to make sure they're rowing in the same direction as me from a high level, not just on that specific company or operations.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And how do you like to structure your profit sharing? Because obviously there's a million different ways to kind of structure incentives, but what do you think kind of works for you?
Yeah. I mean, two things. You could always just give them a percentage of the net profits. It's kind of hard to do in a service business because there's a lot of things that we write off that they would be like, well, I don't know if I would really write that off. But I like to look at the gross profit of a job versus the true net profit. So you say, hey, like if you hit these profit goals, if you hit these revenue goals, the customer reviews, all this stuff will kick you 5% of the gross profit, or even quarterly bonuses. Hey, if you hit your sales quota, we'll give you a quarterly bonus. Keep it simple.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I like the actually when you're saying gross profit, are you taking the sales minus labor? Because that's really your gross profit, right? Or
labor material. Yeah, labor material and labor material, commissions, and marketing costs.
Right. Just the other expenses, which are kind of ancillary benefits to the equity owners. I agree. That's not a fair way to say, hey, I'll pay you on a net basis on this number after I've taken all these benefits out and tried to run it basically to zero anyways.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I like that. That's good, man. That's really, I like that a lot.
Yeah. And then give them ownership of that. So for our roofing sales reps, they have a calculator where they can plug everything in for every job, and it tells them how much labor material is going to be. So if the lowest they can go is 11,000, well, maybe they go in at 12 and, they try to sell it at 12. And then if they need to come down a little bit or something like that, like give them the ownership of saying, hey, this is the lowest you can possibly go. If you sell more, great. If you sell them an add-on service, great. But now they have ownership of it and they can't say they weren't armed with the tools to hit their goals.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know what your percentage is, but they're like, oh, well, if I can sell this for an extra $2,000, I can get 10% of that extra $200,000. So there's, kind of a dangling carrot there for them to go out and not like be outrageously priced, but also try to push the envelope a little bit and see where the breaking point is on the terms of sales.
Yeah. You're very close on that percentage too, by the way.
So Mike, like you're rattling stuff off here. Like you've been a roofer for a while, but you've had this company how long now?
Less than 2 months. March 1st when we took it over.
So how did you get up to speed so quick on like the lingo and the operations and everything?
Yeah, I know nothing about roofing still, so don't ask me any questions about that. I know it covers the house, and you can do shingle or metal, pretty much.
I love it.
But to your point, like what you're talking about is more like operations. It's basic business fundamentals, right?
Yep. Who not how?
Which carries over
right there. Yeah. So John Roof, he came on board. He knew like an elementary version of roofing, and he worked for a couple other roofing companies. And I was just like, dude, go to the sales reps, meet with them for lunch, and learn everything you can from them. And then he met with our supply reps, and they were like, oh, you should totally meet with the sub-supply reps. Like, you should meet with the GAF rep, the CertainTeed rep. So now he's going to lunch with those guys. And then they're like, hey, we got this additional training you guys can go to. And if you go to this additional training, you can offer your customer an extended warranty, and we'll guarantee our shingles with a better warranty, and we'll give you some more price breaks. So boom, he's just like training. And now he's getting educated. So now that he's been educated, we bring these two sales reps on. I'm like, John, I want you to put together a training program for our sales reps to learn all the lingo and all this stuff. that you learned, not in as much of a detail, but enough that they can go out and sell. So just like I'm writing SOPs, I asked him to write those. And then this weekend, he put together a training program to learn all the technical lingo. And then I'm teaching them all the training lingo. So who not
Look
how,
at that.
man?
Amazing what you can do in 60 days.
It is. Yeah.
Amazing. And how much chat GPT is in there in those SOPs?
There's dude, it's really good for building the templates.
Yeah,
Like, you just
absolutely.
say, hey, okay, so I put in a chat GPT. Tell me every objection. Give me at least 75 objections that a customer would give to not close the sale on the spot sales rep.
Oh
Wow,
wow,
what a great question. Boom.
Yeah.
Wow,
Objection,
and then you just come up
response.
with answers to every single one of those.
It'll give you responses.
it'll give you the
Yeah.
responses. Yeah.
Oh
And then-
my God.
And then all I did was I just wrote in my own words what I would want them to say, and I tweaked them and stuff like that. But I mean, it's
It
doing the
gives you
heavy
the
lifting
framework.
work. Yeah,
Right. Right.
exactly.
That's what Tim Vest and I have said about some things. It's like it gives you the framework and it allows you to kind of tweak it to your voice or your message.
Yep.
That's
Tell
cool,
me
though. I
all
like
the
hearing how you're
questions.
using it.
Yeah, tell me all the technical questions a prospect would ask you about a roof, and give me the answers to them. And it's like, how long is this project going to take? How much is this going to cost? What all is involved with it? Are there any permits that need to be pulled? And it's just like, boom, dude, it's all done. Let's go.
Right. Hand it
Yeah.
over. Boom.
Yeah.
Job's
Yeah.
done. I love it, man. Dude, it's
Yeah.
it's being resourceful, right? That's entrepreneurship 101 is being resourceful.
Hey,
Yeah.
listen, I mean, the top corporations in the world operate off of we're not reinventing the wheel, right? Like
That's right.
it's let's find something improve upon it. Let's find, that template, right? And then just put my own flavor on it and put my own little twist and spin and, improve on it and go from there. I mean, guys, that's, you don't have to solve world hunger to like run a successful business, right? It's all right there
Yeah.
for you.
Mhm.
And I want to tell you a cool story about that. So when we were in Moab, I had one of the top marketing guys in the country out there. He does marketing for the Golden State Warriors, for all the Honda dealerships in North America. I mean, dude, he's clearing multiple millions in net profit a year. And he gave a chat GPT crash course for like 3 hours, one-on-one with people. And Nate Hirschberg walked out of that room and he's like, I would have paid $10,000 just for that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the kind of stuff. It's like, dude, you come to a mastermind, you learn how this stuff can benefit your business. Boom. That's
Dude, is that
direct
going to be
value.
are you going to bring a subject matter chat GPT expert at Moab or in Hilton Head?
It goes beyond the event, my guy. So yeah, that guy, he's like, hey, how do we do a chat GPT specific AI marketing event?
Yeah.
Dude, let's set it up. And then he's actually going back to Moab. So, and then guys, I know you guys are numbers guys, so you mind if I share a little bit about this?
I'm the numbers guy, but yeah, go fire away.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna share this with you guys in this community. But this dude slides this note across from me. Been in business for 30 years. He goes, hey, I want 35 grand for this company. I thought he was gonna ask for like 300 grand. I was like, took me back. I had to act like I was like sipping my water. Like,
I was thinking
right.
more like 10.
Yeah, right. And then it's like, you don't want to negotiate because you're like, dude, I don't want to seem like a jerk. But anyway, so I called Nate. He's like, tell me where to wire the money. We got the dude 35 grand, took over the business. So just think about this: business and real estate, different vehicles. They all both have pros and cons. But with this, our goal in the next 12 months is to do over 1 million sales, like 1.2 million. And then from there, we should be able to net, after everything's been paid, 15 to 20%.
Nice.
So you figure that's a couple $100,000 in cash flow. Then the multiplier on that, generally speaking, is like a 3 to 4x in the roofing. And for a newer business like this, it would be more if we grew it more. If you think about that, like 200,000 times 3 or 4x, the company's worth 600 to 800,000. We bought it for 35,000, and it's giving us 200,000 a year, and it's worth 600 to 800,000. Like, that's a pretty cool vehicle to be in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because you essentially you can make $1 million, right? You take $200,000 of cash flow, you sell it for 800,000 in in a year. You just made $1 million in a year, right? I mean, it's like, a lot of people like to overcomplicate the fact of how do I make money? This is how, right? This is how you do it.
Yeah.
So we need to talk to you about how you keep more of that money, right?
Yeah,
right.
No, totally.
Depreciation.
I'm upselling.
Yeah, no, that's the thing, man. Be in both vehicles.
Yeah, you
Right.
have to be.
Yeah. You need active income and then you need the passive, and they both have a role. And dude, play in both spaces. You don't need to be an expert in both. Pick one, partner with other experts like you guys. Like, hey, dude, we got 400 grand chilling from these
Doing
companies. Like,
nothing.
yeah,
Right.
what do we do with it?
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean that's how one hand washes the other, right? You just continue to grow your network, and you're finding people doing different things, and ultimately that leads to opportunity, right? Whether it's in buying a business, partnering on a business, investing in passively into deals, but you're only going to, you're only going to do that with people that you trust, right? And that trust isn't bought overnight. It is planted. The seed is planted years in advance, and you continue to grow and scale, and you're watching each other succeed, and you're like, man, I remember where that guy came from. And if I'm going to put my money with anybody, it's going to be with him, right? Because I know what it looked like at the beginning, and I see what it looks like now, and I know who that individual is, so I trust them with my money.
Yeah. Can I tell you something cool about that?
Yeah.
So your name came up in Moab.
Really?
Yeah, and Chris Beatty was just singing your praises, man, about that first meeting that he had
Yeah.
with you, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Man, I know this is just a genuine dude. He's going to do the right thing. He's going to work really hard. He's going to make sure I get my money back and more." And he's like, "Every deal I've invested with Tim Vitale has been a really good deal,
Yeah.
and he always does the right thing." And guess what? That relationship came from meeting at a mastermind.
That's
So
right.
guys,
Yeah.
like, that's
Yeah.
huge. And
Chris,
good on.
we were just talking about him last week, man. He's a saint of a person, I'll tell you.
Yeah,
He was
and
my very first investor in my very
he told
first
us.
syndication. Yeah.
Yeah, he told us,
Yeah.
and just the amount that you asked for. I think he said he gave you more, and he was
I
like,
didn't
"You
ask
want
for
me-"
anything. So the way I was like, so what do you feel comfortable with? And he was like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. And he blurted out a number. It was far higher than I ever expected
Yeah,
on my first
that's what he
person. I'm
said.
like, that'll do.
Yeah, right. So good on you, dude, for doing the right thing and doing what you
Hey,
said you're going to do. And you're a good dude to invest with for sure.
thank you. I appreciate it. And, I couldn't do it without Tim Vest. We hold each other accountable really at the end of the day, and challenge each other, and just, hold each other to the truth no matter what. And we both got to love the deal in order to move forward with it. So that's where the value is, right? Different skill sets and different traits coming together, and accomplishing a common good.
Yeah.
For
So I
sure.
appreciate the comment there, man. I really do. It means a lot, man. You do the right thing all the time. You can sleep well at night, and your investors see it, your friends see it, your family sees it. Hell, Tim Vest and I, we spend many, 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 many hours a week on the phone talking about problems and solutions, and just always doing the right thing. It takes a little bit more effort, but at the end of the day, it's the right thing to do. I mean,
Yeah.
that's all you got to live by your morals.
Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. Well, actually, I got one thing to add to that, guys, because I don't want to like, kiss up to him too much here, but honestly,
Oh,
one of
come
the first
on.
things that sold me on this guy was somebody called and said, "Hey, we could do this to get to here," and it was less than honorable, right? And
Yeah.
like Vitali, it wasn't even a thought, man. That was what I impressed me. Like he calls
Nope.
me and he's like, he didn't even consider it. He didn't even consider it. And those are the kind of folks I want to be partnered with, man.
That's
I
right.
just want to be partnered with folks that are like, nope, we're going to do it the right way, even if it takes longer. So
Even if it's our downfall, doesn't matter. It's the right thing to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
100%, man. 100%.
It wasn't that OnlyFans idea that he was talking about, was it? Or
No, we
Yeah,
did
yeah.
that one. We did
yeah.
that one.
Oh yeah. Here you go.
I'm a
Sweet.
secret hand model.
That's why I installed the lighting.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. Hey, dude, if it prints money, why not?
That's right.
So,
Money.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that one.
yeah, right.
All right, Mike. Well, dude, thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it. I know you're a busy guy. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing and how to get involved, or potentially go to one of your mastermind meetups in Moab or Hilton Head or wherever else you do them?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to do it is just connect with me on social media. Look me up. Everything is Legacy Mike on all platforms. You can look up Legacy Entrepreneurs, watch all the content. I mean, we've been to Moab 3 times, been to Hilton Head three or 4 times. So, I mean, there's plenty of content out there to see what we do and what we're all about. You can even watch Tim Vitale in one of the videos. So check that one out. And just shoot me a DM. I'm always happy to help any way I can, guys. I try to get one-on-one and personal with you guys. So
Awesome. Hey, Mike, thanks again. I appreciate it. Talk to you later.
absolutely. Thanks, guys.
Good to see you,
Peace.
Mike.